Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Union of European COD Events Ranking League A. It's quite a mouthful. My name is Scabby, and I'm joined by none other than the wonderful and the amazing, to my left, Hyperactive. How are we doing today, my friend?
Oh, I'm feeling amazing. It's always, I guess it's like a privilege to take a step into the COD mobile scene, a completely different feel than the regular Call of Duty that we have right now. But one thing, and I know from a lot of COD fans would say controversial, but not for you guys, we got all the best maps, we got all the best guns in one place. And I tell you what, the two teams facing up are going to be loving it. It's Special Suicide Squad versus Exclusive today. And it's going to be a matchup, Scav, because I tell you what, it's semi-finals.
Yeah, semifinals. This one, you've had all season to work out the kinks and go through what didn't work in the past couple of matches you've had and reinforce what did work. So now you start to put that to the test. It's playoff season. Not much room for mistakes are to be made here. And what a map number one to lead things off. Hacienda Hardpoint Hyper. That's the first one we're going into, right? Until the boys go off to those races.
Oh yeah, Hacienda, it's been Black Ops 4 when it was first introduced, and then now a reappearance back into Black Ops 6, and then come to the Call of Duty Mobile, of course, Black Ops 4, they put all of that in there. Hacienda is just a pure and utter banger for a hard point. A lot of the pros on both mobile and the proper COD have said how amazing it is, but I'm excited for Express. Black Ops 2 Classic, it is where we saw Courage JD really show his pace as a commentator. Scump showed his name as Optic. There is so much history on Express. I am really looking forward to the Search and Destroy.
Talk about history for Express. What about Seaside on Control? We don't actually see Control on Seaside, obviously, given that's a BO4 map, but that iconic clip of Dashy getting a four-piece on Hardpoint mid-map, called out by Miles at I think it was CWL at that time, LAN. In its own. So iconic moments on all of these maps, Hyper. I'm just absolutely thrilled to get right into it. But let's take a step back over into Hacienda Hardpoint. This one's unique given the fact that yes, it's the one that we're leading off with. Yes, it's going to be on Hardpoint, but it's also a map that we're seeing utilized in the current BO6 scene as well as a Hardpoint in that lineup. So judging from all the experience that we've gotten and just the basic fundamentals, Hyper, what do you think that Special Suicide Squad and Exclusive should be looking into in order to take the map number one home?
Well, first of all, you've got to really factor in is the kind of two levels of this map. Is the first of all the fountain down on the bottom floor, but then you have this upper balcony which can become a really useful asset, and it gives you sight lines all the way over to P3, over the P4, and over to P1, and you've got to be taking advantages of those points. P2 is that little exception where height, it doesn't play a factor here. It is very much getting that backside control to get those spawns in your favor. And even if you don't claim the spawn, you can get those sightlines. But let's talk about this team's Suicide Squad. Charisma, Mintra, Toxic, Diddley, and Eru, if I've pronounced those correctly, on that Suicide Squad. It is a banging lineup for them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing these boys hit the ground running after those races, as we iconically say. And then let's check out Exclusive facing off. Leading the charge is going to be Spy, the Neil, Caesar, Grizz, and Veer. So looking, seeing the common denominator in a lot of these teams are going for those darker themed, the more camouflage themed skins, except for Spy. It wants to be known to the world with their iconic, the pink skin as well. So overall, I mean, Spy, usually those are the people you want to look out for as well on the map, like the ones that are kind of not, I wouldn't say that we're in the meme skins, but the skins that kind of pop out the most.
Oh yeah, and from what I've been seeing, Spy as well is a fantastic player, can really hold his own amongst all the points, and maybe see a couple of pop-offs on the side of Grizz as well from the Exclusive squad. But it is gonna be interesting looking forward. I'm pumped to get into this Hacienda and to get it rolling. We spoke about the kind of key points, but Scav, we're seeing the players, we're seeing the map set. Who, on your point of view, is the team that looks likely that's going to be taking the series? The prediction game we like to play.
Well, given the fact that Hyper, I'm very historically bad at making these predictions. I'm going to go ahead and roll my dice. It's my first time in the COD mobile scene making a prediction. So let's go ahead, start off on the right foot. I'm going with exclusive going off and leading the charge, taking home that map number 1.
Map number 1 only, you're saying?
Yeah, I think we need some more time before we can make an educated guess on the whole series, but I certainly think it's going to be a close one, right? It's semifinals. There's a reason why these two teams are here. There's a reason why they've made it this far so in the league in COD Mobile. So in my opinion, I think the first one is going to go to exclusive, but not before a very hard-fought battle from Special Suicide Squad. And it's a very bold name as well to have, Special Suicide Squad, because, yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see how they can come back.
I'm going to do the opposite. I think that Suicide Squad is going to be the team that can overpower and overthrow the likes of exclusive. They're a strong roster, as you mentioned, able to climb through the ranks, able to get to where they are today. But I think, I do agree we do need a little more information before we go and say who's going to necessarily take the series ahead of us. But looking back at it at that Hacienda, we spoke about the differences of level, but let's talk about the travel distance of these two sites, particularly of P2 to P3.
It's a large map.
The transfer between those points is very hard to perform.
And that's and Hacienda on its own, I mean, it's just a large map. It's not a map where you're going to get those CQB style nerves, I guess, or the CQB favoring players, what they want to see. It's going to be very heavily favoring those ARs, especially when it comes to P1. The ARs are going to be the most important players at that point once you go to P1, because you want to make sure that you're checking those cross angles, you're checking those top windows, because on P1, there's little to no cover at all. You're completely exposed over at that fountain. So yeah, the SMGs are going to do a great job, hopefully, of fending off specifically on the point. But ARs, I think this is their cup of tea, Hyper, on Hacienda. This is their time to shine, and what a great way to get things started right now than just starting the darn game itself. Off to the races these fine gentlemen go. Off to P1, these two teams will try to sit.
Well, bloodbath will ensue, but as much as getting those early kills is great, you've got to be looking to the right side of the map, down on that south side over to Garage. That's the former control, of which right now exclusive spawning on that side will massively have. So the question is, how well can they hold this and not allow Suicide Squad to get that flip coming through?
So far, so decent, I guess you could say, on both sides. But yeah, P1, we're going to expect to see a lot of bodies fall, not too much time. So really, any amount of lead you can establish on P1 is going to be important to dictate the rest of the game. But so far, yeah, Suicide Squad, they got an early control, retake from exclusive. And then, yet again, towards the end, exclusive still with those scraps. Suicide Squad kind of left scratching their heads here as they are forced to rotate on over to P2. Mara leading the charge with that. Toxic trying to pick up last couple of kills here and there, but still 24-15, pretty darn even off of P1.
Suicide Squad's got this lovely north side control of this map and just slowly been able to force their way in, but they still haven't been able to flip these spawns. And exclusive, they're going to take advantage of this, spawning over to that right side, able to have quick access back into the garage. So that's something they really have to be concerned on, as Caesar is absolutely frying right now. 7 kills to his name. He's loving this. He's got some control.
Oh, yeah, these flicks are great, and there's a reason why they're probably having him anchor hill, because he's not letting anybody, without at least getting spread, get onto the hill. But finally, there it is. The pinch has been completed from Suicide Squad, and just like that, the bodies from the boys in blue will fall. There goes time ticking over to the boys in yellow, finally. A little bit of breath of fresh air. All yellow in the feed, no interruptions at all right now from exclusive. From what seemed to be a pretty decent P2 setup, Hyper has now turned into absolute chaos. As Spy, yeah, trying to get back onto the point. He'll get traded out eventually, but still, Suicide Squad with a lovely execution of what should be a textbook break over to P2. Now as we rotate on over to P3, exclusive yet again, winning those rotations, but can they win the rest of the hill?
Pinch from both sides, taking their time to bring it in, was exactly what they needed to do. And that Predator Well, that's not going to help the likes of Exclusive because they are now struggling, trying to find any area to fight, but the equalizer from Caesar coming in. That's dangerous to bring it forward. Just couldn't get close enough to put some full damage
Exclusive
in.
finally holding on to the point right now, Hyper. And I mean, you can see it from the bottom left corner of your screen. Suicide Squad just throwing everything they possibly can on the objective. Still, it rains blue. 65 seconds now and counting. Here comes the War Machine, or other people know it as the Noob Tube, just completely spamming onto the objective. He gets a two-piece. Shutdown goes through from Inelli, but not before the damage has been done. An opening has been made. 21 seconds over to Suicide Squad. If they can hold the rest of this hill, here goes the contest. Toxic last left alive and just barely makes that opening possible for Suicide Squad. The objective is contested for quite some time, but yeah, like I said before the game started, Hyper, this is evenly matched. Both sides of the spectrum have their moments, have their lows, and overall it is almost exactly identical from where we started. 77-61. The new hill has opened. This time, Hyper, Suicide Squad wins that rotation.
Oh, beautiful rotation, and in doing so, now they can start to anchor it together, but they've taken a few casualties. Point's gonna slowly open up, and Spy, the one pushing in that bow and arrow, is not gonna be all too good as he finally falls. But no matter where you push, Mantra coming in and making sure nobody can step foot. Suicide Squad take the lead, locking this to the ground.
Yeah, I mean, Exclusive trying to initiate some sort of pinch, you can see, but not much is really hit. And Niley will get a little bit of seconds on the point, a little bit of breath of fresh air. Now the last of alive on the objective for Suicide Squad. It's going to be Toxic, waiting just enough time for Diddley to get onto the point as well. Suicide Squad, fantastic hold onto this objective here. 10 seconds left and counting. The scraps are there. Spy is not letting Suicide Squad win any of it. There it is. All three of them can't make it 4. Just completely knocking Suicide Squad over like dominoes as we finally make that full rotation back to P1. Suicide Squad this time on top, but judging from the kill feed right now, 3 off for Exclusive. It's looking to be like this P1 is going to be in the favor of the boys in blue.
I was going to originally question why attack the last few seconds. Well, I'll tell you exactly why. Because when you go through the connector over to Rock, you will then have the upstairs. I said about how this is 2 levels, and that's Exclusive wanted that upper floor, and they got it off the get-go. They have this control because they have that upper floor. But now if you're Suicide Squad, you've got to break through their lines. You've got to find that opening for yourself, and you can see they're slowly pushing up, and every time they get a whiff of an opportunity, they keep having another one of Exclusive have an angle to just keep them off.
Here we go again. Full hill has gone through. Exclusive now taking the lead this time. Rotation over to P2 will favor Suicide Squad, but now bottom left corner, Spy sitting on the objective. He's going to be surrounded in a second. If he can do some damage, that'd be great for his teammate to show up. He gets 1 and a second. That's going to leave a mark. Toxic finally put him to rest, and the Sparrow's coming out as well, predicting where Exclusive is going to show up. There it is, a beautiful kill. Can he get the second? He got his teammate will fall. He'll get the second, but he will fall as well. As a result, Eiley finding 1 as well. Caesar not able to do too much damage. Here comes the Annihilator. It's 1-shot kill if he can get it, but the smoke screen in front of our face is not going to help Mantra all too well, and Exclusive will take advantage of that. Spy, barely the dynamic duo going on a spree right now over to this P2, and now you see it, Hyper. Now you see Exclusive starting to feel themselves. Now you see Spy going into those spawns, using that Sparrow to their advantage, and the time just keeps on ticking for Exclusive.
Spy has been the carrier of Exclusive, able to anchor, play aggressive. No matter where you put him, you've got to be careful. He is the definition of an international threat. So don't allow him to push any further, and that's exactly what Exclusive have done. They've pulled themselves a beautiful near 60-point lead against the Suicide Squad, and now they're not even bothering with this previous point. They're looking to make that rotation. The only person who can really deny it is Mantra, who is trying to fend them off, able to find 1 in the feed. He's got another 2 pushing up against him. And this is allowing time for Suicide Squad to rotate through. And Spy tried to go for the back, didn't happen. Brilliant work for Mantra. Play of the game to allow Suicide Squad to come in.
New point is opened up. P3 here. A lot of diversity in the feed, though, this time around, unlike P2. Bodies dropping back and forth, but ultimately Suicide Squad still hitting on the objective. And you can see Exclusive just stacking onto the point. There it is. The equalizer doing some damage as well. Toxic doing what he does best, anchoring onto the objective, and there goes the hunter killer drone that has been deployed. Well, not able to find much quite yet, but Exclusive will find a lot on this objective. Now the tide is completely turned for Suicide Squad. Unfortunately, yeah, they're able to win those scraps, and they're able to win a couple engagements here and there, but ultimately once the calm, once the water starts to settle, Exclusive is doing a fantastic job of easing into their points, getting that little groove on, and ultimately winning those rotations, getting the majority of the time, and rotating well too.
Yeah, Exclusive played damage limitation. They threw bodies upon bodies upon bodies to deny that great rotation from Suicide Squad. And now they are able to go back down south, go to P4, fight for Rock. And once again, rotation is just favoring this Suicide Squad in the second half of the game. If this was the first half, it was all Exclusive, hence the scoreline. But Suicide Squad are just coming back. They found a rhythm, much like a train. It's very hard to stop, but those nades are gonna say a different story.
Agreed.
Welcome to the server, because Exclusive just pushed back in.
Oh yeah, it is all hell breaking loose right now on the objective. Exclusive seeing, Suicide Squad just like barking back at them, and Exclusive barking right back. But still not able to do much. Toxic again, sitting on the objective. He finds one. That was disgusting, if I were to say so myself. Caesar kind of working a route as well to get a couple of scraps here and there. Yeah, like you said earlier, Hyper, last time we were here, fighting for that very last second on this objective on the hill. Because next is P1, not too far off, unlike the other objectives here on Hacienda. And still 191 Exclusive, getting ever so close to a 200-point mark. Starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, but Suicide Squad still giving them the business, showing them what it's like, and not going out without kicking, screaming, or trying.
Third rotation, we begin, and once again, Exclusive. They played late last time. They're playing late again. They have that upstairs control, and in doing so, now they can have someone on a point. This is where they gathered a good amount of points from the last time round. Can they repeat that? The question is no right now, because Suicide Squad, special Suicide Squad, are really showing up and definitely trying to get those contests coming in. But Nelly is saying, this is my point and my server. Exclusive in the 200 and putting the fear of God into Suicide.
Oh yeah, they certainly are right now, and here it is now. Hyper, things start to get really dangerous now. Every second counts for a special Suicide Squad. 10 seconds left, and they're fighting for those scraps, not going anywhere. No time is good time at this point in time for the SSS. The rotation has been lost. Exclusive could very well win it here. Hyper kick it into four-wheel drive SSS, because it's now or never. Neely waiting on the other side. There goes the Tempest, finding one to his name, and Exclusive with a lovely setup. All corners have been covered. SSS doing nothing in their power right now to get any time left onto this objective, and here it is. Here goes the last push. They need to win it here if they can get it. Yes, Charisma finds one, gets the second, trying to get the third. Yes, he gets the third. Diddley unfortunately will fall from Spy. The retake was not very successful, but it did delay time, which is good for SSS. Exclusive 2-1, and just like that, they can throw all they want, but SSS unfortunately will have to bow out. Map number 1.
That equalizer is such a powerful weapon to bring in on the last second, a final ditch effort to get yourself into the garage. It was working, everything was going well, but who was the one to upset them all? It's none other than Spy. We spoke about him at the first half, but let's just talk about him in general. He was a machine coming into the game. 46 and 29 to prove my point. That man was frying today.
I don't want to ever hear anyone doubt or diss the COD mobile scene, Hyper, because my goodness gracious, looking at these KDs here, incredibly impressive, especially given the fact that a lot of these guys aren't really using controllers or have learned to play this game without controllers to begin with. Yeah, 46 and 29 to the name, and you got some good hill time, 1 minute and 18 seconds as well. The MVP, as shown on screen, well deserved for Spy, but it's Spy and company, right? I mean, he's got a lot of working parts, a lot of gears that are twisting and moving in the favor. Well-oiled machine for Exclusive, the boys in blue. Things overall were pretty darn evenly matched on both sides of the spectrum up until mid-map, and that's when you see Exclusive start to really push away from SSS, and that's when you start to see SSS start making slow mistakes that eventually are going to add up more and more. Especially, I want to highlight that P2 rotation from P1. I think it was the second rotation from P1 to P2. Exclusive had SSS on a lockdown up until like the last even until the last 30 seconds of that hill being open. Exclusive was pushing really deep into SSL's face and spawns. Especially, you saw one of the players holding the sparrows and going on a spree himself. So that's when you start to see when people are getting confident of pushing that deep into spawns where 2, 3 or more are spawning out and they're still going out, they're still going with their specialist and taking the risk. That's how you know that they're feeling the confidence in their feelings. And I wish we could have gotten a listen in with Exclusive, because I could tell up until the very end there, their comms must have been calm, collected, but incredibly intense, because you can see SSS was still giving them some kickback.
Oh yeah, they're going to give him kit back to the very deep and the very end, and it kind of goes back to our predictions. And you said Exclusive were the ones going to take it. Congratulations, you got something right, Scab. You've actually guessed correctly for once. But Exclusive, yeah, 100%. Things are great for now, but moving into an express search and destroy, which I am most anticipated for and excited to do. I feel that dynamic can change. I feel that Specialist Suicide Squad could 100% come back, especially with those SMG players that we saw on their side. The amount of fights that were won from them in that 1v1 scenarios or a 2v1 scenarios were really going to that Special Squad. Exclusive, yeah, they got that star-studded spy, and I no doubt in my mind, you leave that guy in a 1v4, there is a high chance he will actually clutch it. I think solely relying on a player like Spy won't be enough, but I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, and it could be a complete sweep on that side.
Usually when we get over the search and destroy, one of my pieces of advice, unsolicited advice if you will, is to tell players to play for picks, especially if they've been beaten in the engagements and the trades. But I don't know if I can really say that off of Hardpoint, to be quite honest with you, Hyper, because here we are. Time has already begun. Unfortunately, I'm getting to really finish my point, but SSS, yeah, Hyper, one alive left. Mantra, 1v2 situation, and a sniper with a dream. Here it is. Nothing. Yeah. Unfortunately, a little bit of an anticlimactic start, but obviously, if there was only 2 left for Exclusive, SSS still put some work in for that round number 1. It's first to 7 rounds, not 6. So we'll see what SSS has up their sleeve, Hyper.
Well, for us, we're used to 6. For all the fans at home, they clearly know it is up to 7 as the slides will get switched, and here we go. SSS's time to attack. It didn't work all too well, but slow and steady wins the race is the way they're going to look. But Caesar, you could see how aggressive Exclusive have pushed up. They're pinching the side of the Suicide Squad onto the safe site.
Yeah, not much real time here has gone before the guns started firing, guns ablazing, and again, Exclusive winning majority of these gunfights, and just like that, all 4 off for SSS, while Exclusive only losing 1 in the process. A little bit of a dent, for lack of a better term. Round number 2 for the boys in blue. Now, bomb is in your court if you're SSS.
It's a brilliant strategy from Exclusive. Force them to A, make them have to attack it, and in doing so, go aggressive as the shotgun's out. Shotgun's out, finds 2, opens things up to that B side. Oh, what a way to open things up, but Diddley is going to try and retaliate down to 1, gets taken out. Wow. Both sides wanting to play the aggression game, not wanting to play the slow tempo. I think we got a game on our hand here.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just 3 in a row for Exclusive, especially that last round. If you want to compare to traditional sports, that's what you'd call like a 1-2-3 inning. Not much resources were exhausted for Exclusive in order for them to win that round, unfortunately. But new round has arisen, a fresh new page in the chapter. Frags being thrown. Not much aggression from SSS as we saw from last round. A couple of shots here and there. Caesar will be spotted, but escape with his life. That is valuable information to have. Mantra, unfortunately, though, will put him to rest. And Charisma as well. It's 2 for SSS, and now it's a 2v4. Beautiful round so far from SSS. Not exhausting any resources here, Hyper.
2v5.
2v5.
Remember, 5
Yeah,
players.
you're right.
Nonetheless, it's going to be very difficult for Exclusive, but they've got Spy, they've got a Verity as well. Spy finds one
Oh,
5 second,
jeez.
get 2 pumps in there. Thank you, dear sir. Making things just that bit easier. Still opening things up, and there it is. SSS putting 1 on the board. Quickly done and dusted. And who says snipers should be removed? They're beautiful weapons in these games.
Yeah, I know you were having a field day as soon as you saw the snipers being used, Hyper, because that is one of your favorite types of weapons or weapon class to use, and I honestly cannot blame you because it is, as we saw from last round, but still SSS will pull away. It shows that they have a little bit of fight left in them. Bomb immediately put down to start off this round. I'll tell you who immediately will get started with the kill, and that's Exclusive. Finding all 3 within a matter of, I'd say, about 15 seconds. Now, a 2v3 situation, it is possible, especially Mantra with the sniper. We know what he can do. 4 kills to his name. Make it hopefully 6 or 5 if you can get this round under his belt. But time is still ticking, for that bomb.
SSS loves this slow gameplay. We've seen it every round. They wanted to try and slow down Exclusive, but Exclusive just push up. They get inside of their spawn area and then start backstabbing. And this is something SSS needs to be more wary about. Spread out a bit more, and then you can play that slow game. But there we go. That's going to be Verity down, and that's going to allow it to be a 2v2. Things even once again, but Spy still alive, able to get a pump in from Grizz. 1v2.
Here we go. Clutch of a lifetime too, right? Because you don't want to be down 4, obviously. That goes without saying. So bomb is vacated right now. Mantra will go ahead and take advantage of that if he can. Now 33 seconds left to make a move, and make a move quick. Good thing for SSS is that I don't think Exclusive even knows where the last alive is. That's Mantra. You got the sniper in a hand too, and he's at a primal position as well. You can just keep checking these angles. I don't know if he was just spotted out there. Yes, he was. Grizz, the callouts will follow shortly over to Spy, and now Mantra not retreating quite yet. This is quite interesting. He'll actually go ahead and just stay prone, get that bomb down. Not sure if that was the smartest decision, but we'll see if it was or not. It wasn't, unfortunately. And again, SSS falling short of a 2v1 comeback. Exclusive still parading on through. Doing a fantastic job at keeping that momentum alive, even when SSS showed some bark back just a couple of rounds ago.
Yeah, SSS just took it too slow. They had everything in place, and that bomb's just extra loud. Toxic will get the first, and it's just going to be another one for the side of SSS as the feed will start to flail back and forth. 4v2 ready, and this is something that the Suicide Squad wants to have. Bomb finally could go down. This is the first time we've had a plant in this game. Hurrah! A post-plant situation and the comeback that the special Suicide Squad needs.
Finally. The bomb has been planted down, right, Hyper? And this time for SSS over at B. Time is ticking here. And not much urgency, I guess, has been shown from Exclusive. Nearly finding 1. That was disgusting. Can he find the 2nd? Yes! Ooh. Yes, he can. He beats the AR and the 3rd. Oh, my good gravy. I want to stake with that because, jeez, that was disgusting. Grizz just cooked us up something great. Nice round number 5, a round 5 win for Exclusive, and now SSS, that's gotta sting. I mean, you had that in the grasps in the palms of your hand, and you still unfortunately aren't up to rise to that occasion.
Grizz is absolute demon. I think we were looking at the wrong player this entire time as immediately Toxic puts us in, gets taken out by Diddley this time. The snipers are coming alive. They're having a field day on this map, and even the SMGs just can't find their way through. Charisma has disconnected. Just saw that in the feed, so that might call for a stoppage at some point for Grizz. Even a CQB can still come out alive.
Oh, yeah. Well, the bomb has been planted, though, for Exclusive. Tide has turned. There's a couple of kills here and there. Dilly finding 1. Still Exclusive is favored in the kill feed. 2v1 situation. Eeyore is the last alive. Spy, don't know if you saw him at the last possible second, but if he didn't, doesn't matter. Teammates got his back. Ending the round strong. Map point for Exclusive.
This has been a landslide. You know, when we looked at Hardpoint, it was SSS coming, able to put up a good force. But the thing is Exclusive has just turned up the wick even further. They've been aggressive. Spy kicking things off, getting that early frag, as well as Caesar. They're both aggressive. They both just want frags, and that's exactly what's been helping them.
Oh, there's 3 in the feed.
To get it going. One left. Diddley left alive. Has to ace. There's 2. Can he get another? Come on. Give us some excitement. Can't hit the shots. The pistol's out. He's still going. Still going. 2 left, but finally taken out. Unfortunate. Exclusive. Take the second map, and the snipers. Oh my, ladies and gentlemen, this is why we need it in the CDL. Come on.
Yeah, that was fantastic display of just not stopping, not going all out, or not finishing, putting your phone down until the final whistle blows. And for that, Exclusive, I'm sure, we're in a point of concern up until the end of that round. But it also, pays off to have those players that are able to stay calm, collected, despite the fact that, sort of like a horror movie, you see characters like dropping suddenly one by one, until eventually you're able to give it the final blow and knock SSS down. Grizz, as we said earlier, 2KD to finish off that map. Iveria over 2KD as well. Pretty much everybody from Exclusive went positive for this map, with the exception of Caesar. But again, Hyper, that's where it's good to have like a well-balanced team, not to have that single player that does all the work, because you can afford to have a player that kind of has a bad map and still win in fashion. 7-1, an absolute slaughterhouse, unfortunately, for lack of a better term, for SSS. Leading only 1, Diddley, going positive for their side. So going over it into map number 3. Mind you, ladies and gentlemen, this is Exclusives, all their picks. Every single one of these maps were picked by Exclusive, since they're considered the home team for this week. So it's not necessarily a jaw-dropping discovery, I guess you could say, that they're succeeding more on these maps. But obviously, you naturally, SSS will have their turn up to the plate, and hopefully they can hit it out of the park. But they want to get those maps secured when it's not their turn to pick, because that just sets them up for the future. But moving into map number 3, excuse me, it's going to be a control on Seaside, Hyper. I'm really excited to see how this goes. Never seen a control quite like this before on such an iconic map. So I'm interested to see how things go. I mean, SSS certainly can win aggressive engagements and play aggressively, as evident by the Hacienda Hardpoint. But when push comes to shove, Exclusive just seems to be able to close things out a lot more efficiently. So especially with a really tough round loss from SSS, that Exclusive rose up above and was able to completely flip on its head despite a bomb plant being down. Moving on over to Seaside, beyond just being a map that you need to fight in and stay alive, it's a map in which you also have to forget about what happened in the past and focus on the future, unfortunately, for SSS.
Yeah, and SSS, there's something, I made a point of it midway through that search and destroy. Clearly, they're wanting to take control of this pace. It's how do you correlate that to force your opposition to do it, and that's something they will learn within the search and destroy. Now you're going to have to learn it into the control, which is a completely different area in itself. As we thought we were going to go in, but clearly not yet. But Seaside is a very, very elongated length map. There are areas and channels that you can go through, the wine cellar being quite an interesting battleground to fight in. I love it as an S&D map. I never had a chance to play it as a control, not only for Black Ops 4, but myself, when you're in COVID and during points where you don't have a PC, COD Mobile becomes your best friend. And honestly, going to, the plaza and restaurant side, that was my usual lockdown site. I could hold that side down like no end. But the intricacies of Red Wine Cellar, it's so hard because you're taking angles that are 180 degrees. You're having to go and look back into your pocket corner back here to capture them off in that cellar, not including also the 90-degree corner that's right in front of you as well. So a lot of tough angles in that cellar.
Yeah, a lot of attempt angles. And again, I've said it once, I'll say it again. Seaside, home of the most iconic Call of Duty competitive or Call of Duty Pro League clips over at Central Plaza. See if they can be recreated here, but in a different mode and on a different platform. COD Mobile yet again. Here we go after the races and off to the nades. SSS will waste no time of getting those kills.
Yeah, nades are just capturing people, and it goes to show the lack of trophies and people not running trophies is beautiful to see. We're getting these nade kills coming left, right, and center, and it's allowing these openings coming up, and the shotgun as well. No surprise we're seeing the shotgun used in the cellar.
Well, 2 ticks completed for SSS right off the bat. I wouldn't say that's too bad. 25-24, pretty darn even in the lives, especially considering you are on offense. But immediately, though, Exclusive will get right back to it. Deny any of that taking to be continued. B as well, they'll start to chip away at those ticks as well shortly thereafter. But again, nobody's home to defend with SSS, and Exclusive will clean up shop. And from behind, Neely will unfortunately get the tootsies of realize they were sticking out and get a second as well. Not getting the third, but doing some pretty lethal damage, if I should say, in the process. And yeah, Grizz just lining them up like dominoes here from spawn as well. Exclusive going right back to where we saw them in that Hacienda Hardpoint, getting comfortable with those spawn traps. And what a mode to do it that on control. Those spawn traps can be incredibly disappointing if you let them get the best of you for on that offensive side.
Oh, it could be dangerous, especially that channel. And look how deep 5 and 4 have pushed themselves. They're all the way inside their spawns. That's Nelly and Caesar, so that's something to keep an eye on. And they're happy. They're happy with the likes of Spy to hold point. Did a brilliant job to push it off. They're gonna give away A. No problem. Allow SSS to have a minute extra time, but Exclusive, they're chill with this. They know that SSS are down to their final lives, so they can respawn back into this.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it just turned into a TDM for Exclusive and SSS. It's like a search and destroy. You got to play with every life to count, and just like that, there's 2 more off. 3v15, make it a 2v15. Caesar makes it a 1v15, and just like that, at this point, just a game of cat and mouse where Last Alive Diddley eventually will be sought out and fall as Exclusive. Unfortunately, you know, for SSS, was a promising start to the round with that immediate 2-tick onto A, and pretty darn good with that life ratio, but surely thereafter Exclusive went right back into that rhythm, went right back to the spawn traps, and went right back to winning those rounds.
They really did. But off to the races they go again. Shotgun. Not going to do too much this time. A great entry if you're SSS. Just try it and start to get some progression, but it's been contested the entire time. So nothing has worked from SSS as Toxic. Checking his angles, and I told you how difficult this site is. You're having to check 180 at some points, and it's going to show how difficult it is to break in, as Exclusive are just creating feed upon feed, and now they are spawn trapping as well as an attacker.
Here we go. Again, SSS got 16 lives to defend B, completely just allowed A to be taken over by Exclusive, and now this is where the pressure starts to settle in. You can start to see the future not being so well, and Virli and Grizz just adding on top of that stress, that pain in the rear that they've been causing all series long. Double in the lives right now is Exclusive. They can just keep throwing bodies at B if they really want to. They got plenty of time to do it. Nades being thrown, frags being thrown here and there. It's going to take a miracle for SSS to win this one.
A miracle indeed. They're going to have to do everything in their power, but Spy and Caesar are just frying. They keep on going, and there's the capture. An attacking round for Exclusive, and it's not even a case that SSS just can't win their gunfights. Is a case of when they lose one, there just seems to be another body that Exclusive finds to make those scenarios a 2v1, 3v1 at all occasions. They then leave one player on point and then send their entire force to push forward, slowly creeping up as Toxic gets 2 off the start. The Sparrow is so lethal, and now a Predator missile as well from Grizz. Oh, this is just a horrible way to start.
Hey, well, A is still going, though, Hyper, despite the fact that, yeah, things are looking pretty darn ugly in the kill feed. A is still going right now, and here it goes. Streaks that are being utilized here from Exclusive. Nobody's home. in terms of the kills, but at least he gets those callouts. 25-22 SSS. Start, realizing what's going on here. You almost got A. Last time you were able to capture A, it was with a lot of lives being lost in the process. Now things are looking a little bit better. So here we go. These are crucial kills to be picked up from Eeyore. Yes, 2 off for exclusive, and the complete capture onto A will be a nice setup for SSS, the best position that they've been in so far on this map. Caesar trying to line them up, able to find 2, not the third. And now B wide open for the taking. SSS, you got 1 minute and 57. Please, to dear God, just slow down that pace, regroup, refocus on that objective. This is the best shot you've had so far.
Yeah, but you can't. Nelly spawn trapping once again, and Exclusive just seem to be able to find those little angles and just allow them to line up. Tempest is out. He's gonna get a few here. No! Able to sniff it. SSS are still in this. They still have an opportunity, but that B site has sight lines galore. So a difficult pathway, a difficult angle to press. And once again, they're just channeling through one way. And in doing so, now it's going to be Venny to go forward and start positioning himself into spawn trap territory.
This is beautiful, 11-11, and now you can see B is completely taken by SSS, and it's been flipped on its head from Exclusive being in that spawn type position to SSS just spraying and praying and still getting the kills. Here comes Grizz going in with that shotgun, finding 2 to his name. There goes. Is it enough for the break? We'll see here. Grizz as well capitalizing on the Toxic being the last one, the last alive to laugh here. 5v8. SSS completely wiped off that B objective, sent back to the respawn screens. Here comes the nade. You still got 1 minute and 16 if you're SSS, so good progress has been made. Those 2 ticks cannot be erased. Eeyore, a couple of love taps here and there, but again, not much else will follow. And now 7v2. All hope seems to have been lost for SSS, as Exclusive will parade on through 3 straight rounds. SSS, their last round to do it. And what was a promising fashion, and what was a lockdown on B into what I thought was them just cleaning up shop and taking care of business, forcing another round to go through. It's not enough, Hyper. It's just not enough for SSS.
It is not, and it's so unfortunate, but it is clear the overpowering that was just coming forward. I don't want to be that guy, but Exclusive is that team that just has a well-oiled machine, a bunch of players that can slide their way into areas, able to fend themselves off, even solo 1v2ing, 1v3ing scenarios, able to save their abilities at the right place at the right time. It's unfortunate, because as much as I do want to give SSS a lot of credit, we only saw spiced moments here and there, while Exclusive was all the way through consistent. It's sad to see, but as I said, this is only round 1 of essentially series 1 of 2. Of course, we're going to be flipping it over next week, where the map picks are going to be in favor of the special Suicide Squad. But I fear it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got a week to work on how things are going right now, Hyper. It's all you really have to refocus, rewatch this VOD, and start fixing, whatever mistakes you've had. And SSS, unfortunately, did have a lot of them. Exclusive, showing alive, making a statement here on this Saturday night. And yeah, Spy, Vera, Caesar, Grizz, Neil, all 5 of them doing a wonderful job of bringing each other up and holding their own. Severity and Queens will face off as well in their semifinals bracket. Obviously, the winner of that will take on, well, so far it seems to be Exclusive. But yeah, like you said earlier, Hyper, SSS does have a fighting chance to make the comeback of a dream for the finals. And just kind of going back to Exclusive strategy and how they play. I mean, usually I say, Hyper, yeah, you don't want to go into those single engagements, especially in Hardpoint, where you just kind of blindly rush the point, or in Control blindly rush the objective. But Exclusive has done a lot of that this evening, and they've won a lot of them. I'll tell you that much.
We're just getting word in that there's a review going on to play.
Yeah,
we're doing a review on an alleged banned skin within the game, and this could force a map 4, which is massively gonna help SSS. So we are gonna hold tune to whether we're gonna go forward for a map 4 or if it's gonna remain. But nonetheless, if this goes through, SSS now have a lifeline here. They're gonna be able to go over to Apocalypse Hardpoint and bring something back if these allegations are true.
Yeah, we'll see if the allegations are true. Right now, we have tournament administration going through and trying to figure that out. Shout out to you guys for your hard work, by the way, and making sure that everything is fair and we have ourselves a fun series to cast and also play in. So as they decide what's going on, yeah, so we're just getting word right now from our production crew. Shout out to you guys as well that we are going to be going into a map 4. So SSS, the fans at home, the players themselves. I don't know who said it. Must have said a prayer to move to map 4. Prayer has been answered. As you said earlier, Hyper, map 4 is going to be a hard point on Apocalypse. And I mean, hard point so far, SSS has done pretty darn well with. I mean, granted, the first hard point we met them at, it was nearly, it's like I want to say like close to 140 to 160 to 250 with favoring exclusive, but still they held their own up until about mid to the start of late maps. So I think this is pretty exciting and it's a great opportunity for SSS. And yeah, a lot of people have been saying exclusive have just been shredding in those engagements and capitalizing on trades, but new breath of hope. Could this be it? No idea.
Well, taking out, we're also going into more CQB. Apocalypse not being as large of a map as Hacienda is, a little bit smaller. But the problem with Apocalypse as well is it's a lot of open space. So shotguns, I don't think will be as powerful in the likes of this game. But 100%, this is SMG Platform 101. We're going to see all of them running an SMG, maybe a sniper just to spice things up. We didn't really see much of it in Hacienda through there, but maybe one or two during lockdown of points. And then, of course, you got to point out the spread of these points there. You start very central, you go to the right, then you go to the left, then you go north, and then you go left again. And it's all very central, close rotations amongst this map. So a very fun map. I've played it a lot on ranked, and I enjoy it. Admittedly, when I play ranked, it's full of bots, but nonetheless, it is great fun to start frying on a map like Apocalypse.
The reverse sweep is on the horizon. Maybe not in the picture perfect, like the Disney Cinderella story you might have imagined it to be, but SSS could very well complete the reverse sweep, and they're gonna have to flip a switch to do it. Hyper. I'm not gonna say that they're definitely a well-oiled machine, and I wouldn't have a doubt in my mind that these guys have done their fair share of dominating other teams. But right now, exclusive is sort of just dominating in general over SSS. Of course, SSS can show they can fight back. They're not completely oblivious to getting kills, but at the same time, in terms of playing objective, in terms of closing things off, and like you said earlier, Hype, with the fluidity of a well-oiled machine, exclusive is able to reflect just that. So if you're SSS, you got to flip a switch. You got to get the coach's comms, if you have one, into the VC. Talk about what you can do here. Talk about some of the mistakes you made in the last 3 maps, and then talk about what you can do to counter them. No room to just dawn down, to be down at yourselves and get frustrated at each other, but also recognize what are some things you can do and how you can play. And if you ask me, I think SSS should play a lot more like a group pushes. They did a fantastic job map 1 with getting those retakes, especially on P2 for Hacienda, when they executed that pinch strategy, not just executing one and done type pushes onto the point. So if they can lean in on that with Apocalypse, like you said, being a smaller CQB style map, things will go pretty darn well, because we'll see a lot of respawns and we'll see a lot of bodies being thrown and dropped onto the objective.
I hope so. I really do hope so. But the one question I'm going to ask you, Scav, is anyone going to be risking this idea of pulling a shotgun out in this map? Do you see anybody maybe pulling it up into P5?
I don't know. I don't know really what to. I think that's a tough question to ask, to be quite honest with you. I don't think I have a perfect answer. I think the shotguns are definitely going to be utilized, especially when those objectives that are indoors or in passing. But in terms of the shotguns being more dominant or the most utilized class of weapon, I don't think we're going to see much of that, to be quite honest with you. If we're going to be spectating people going on sprees and getting kills, I'm envisioning again for it to be the old reliable ARs and our SMG. Still, shotguns being used in a competitive setting is a bit foreign to a lot of people. And so, therefore, I think I don't think they're going to be utilized too much. Sorry about that little sounds we heard a little bit from production. They're just getting back to what's telling us that the players are in the lobby right now. Things are starting to get cleared up in terms of the confusion that this unfortunate map 4 force has caused. But to go back to the original question, Hyper, no, I don't think shotguns are going to be the driving force of who wins this map. But I do think the presence is going to be there.
I think I agree with what you're saying. Of course, entire map, no, I made that point earlier on. It's too much open space for a small map to really be able to be comfortable to main on a shotgun. But 100%, you know, it's not uncommon for players to switch between weapons in Hardpoint. We saw when Control was first introduced, we saw a lot of players bringing out snipers to kick things off, and then when things got a bit more heated, they would switch over to their SMG ARs accordingly. And the same with Hardpoint, you know, some players love to fry with the sniper, but then when it comes to that nitty gritty to a certain point, they would then switch over. There's no exceptions here, changing to, you know, I said P5 being a great opportunity, P2 as well, being a little enclosed, P3 realistically as well. So 2, 3, and 5 being areas that the shotgun could come out. But as I said, 1 and 4 just being so open, I don't see great presence with it. So nonetheless, yeah, 100% stick with those SMGs and start, you know, lighting up the field. But the main focus, I would say, is, has SSS got that final push to get going? They've been handed a lifeline and technically a map under their belt, but in their heads they still view it as a loss. And Scav, you're a guy who works deeply with your university and speak a lot with your players there. How do you see your coaches and how do you see them come back from what is technically a 3-0 and a loss and then be handed a lifeline? What's that mentality gotta be?
Well, I'll tell you first and foremost how I would envision coaches over here, at least in my experience in the esports, and these are for all titles, all AAA titles as well. Exclusive is definitely annoyed right now, or at least the coaches would be. Anyone that's in charge of that team is certainly going off the rails right now at a very petty I shouldn't say petty, not petty in a sense that the league ruling is petty, but just petty in a sense that it shouldn't have happened. Players should be educated on what they can and cannot do, and especially when you're dominating for a whole series, it's very sad and unfortunate that you're going to have to drop a map that should have been yours to begin with. But going over to SSS, like I said earlier, from a coach's perspective and from an administration perspective, the coaches are, I'm sure, taking advantage, or the players, of this valuable time that we've been kind of just sitting here waiting. This is like a good timeout for SSS, and if you will, kind of icing Exclusive. And that was sort of that strategy that I remember my time here in the esports program was being utilized so abruptly. It was take as much time as you need, spend as much time as you need to ice that other team that's been dominating you, to the point where they've lost all that confidence, they've lost all that hope, and finally we're into this Hardpoint map number 4, excuse me, off to the races again. These fine gentlemen go, and hopefully for Exclusive, it's the last time they're off to those races.
Yeah, hopefully for them, but if you're SSS, you want to be able to push this to the bitter sweet end. As off the get-go, we are seeing that Exclusive have those spawns. Of course, the second one being onto that upper right is that lovely little U area that you can see number 2 just walking past. That's where they want to get to next for the last 30 seconds on this point.
Oh,
Grizz
hello.
jumps in. Not able to find too much. I was expecting a little bit more, but no, in the feed he's got it, and the feed is just looking blue.
Nice and blue for Exclusive. Probably really annoyed, not starting to think things pretty darn seriously, especially after, I'm sure, getting completely, you know, reamed out from the coaches, or from anyone from Exclusive. The administration, Toxic and Diddly, though, answering back. 39 seconds left and counting. This is unfortunate, Hyper. It's not much of like we saw from that Hacienda Hardpoint, where SSS was neck and neck with Exclusive the entire map. Grizz finding one with his score streak. or from the Hunter Killer drone immediately. The point has opened up for P2. SSS is waiting on the other side, but the sea of blue is coming through. Eeyore could have found a nice two-piece, but he got found in the crosshairs from Spy, and just like that, 3 off for SSS. Exclusive answering back from Ivory, excuse me. And Toxic going right back to those kills, but at the end of the day, Hyper Exclusive doing what they do best, getting those breaks on the objectives and winning a lot of those gunfights.
Yeah, but it's all well and good for Exclusive breaking, but immediately SSS just forcing their way back in, keeping Exclusive off the point as much as they can, and relying on these beautiful score streaks, as Grizz found 3 with the flamethrower. Hello! Get it burning and make it hot in the feed.
Exclusive already parading on through close to that 70-point mark. SSS is not too much of a point of concern quite yet, but just judging from how the last hard point went, you want to get every second, because every second counts up until the end game. Now new point is arisen. SSS has control on the objective here. Spy trying to find 2. Yep, finds another one here and is successfully able to retake that control that SSS originally had onto that new point. Toxic with a nice 360 there, great flick. Not able to execute well on it though. And you can hear the Tempest echoing through the map as being utilized. No time is good time for SSS, but eventually won't take too much time for Exclusive to see it's there. Open things up running the objective, and SSS Hyper doing a fantastic job so far of not giving up. They won the rotation for SSS. Exclusive took that rotation back, but still, they're going out fighting. SSS looking alive on this map.
SSS needs to find something. It is almost one-sided. Again, another great rotation for SSS as they keep able to get those breaks, you keep able to keep themselves alive, but when you got Charisma coming in with the equalizer, well, that equalized the zone for sure. Comes in once again, and hello! Keep it going. The feed start finally favoring the yellow side to favor their ability to fight, but look at the pressure. The pressure is just forward from this Exclusive side, and with the War Machine going off, somehow SSS are here.
Yeah, they are, and I was gonna say earlier, Exclusive has a fantastic look at this new hardpoint that's opened up, especially given the fact that spawns were all there. They were surrounding the map and they were covering every which angle. But SSS, unfortunately, for Exclusive, was able to get a fantastic retake with a War Machine and the melee there kill as well, just running onto the objective, running rampant. The smoke machines will go through, cause some more confusion for Exclusive. Ivory just sitting on the objective as well. Hunter Killer drone does go out to ensure that extra padding, and here's their turn using the noob tube as well. Time is still ticking for Exclusive. They start to move on over to that 100-point mark as SSS. They were doing a decent job of that rotating from last point and now this new point, but Exclusive going right back to where they were over at map number 1, 2, and 3, just outslaying, capitalizing, and not letting SSS get those trades as they should be getting.
Well, open site right now, 1v1 did ensue, but it was going to be Spy winning that, and that becomes Exclusive's next hard point. They're going to have that upper hand, but a Hunter Killer drone might be dangerous. Need to be careful, not going to find anybody. Instead, an immediate push, and it's not a break, but it definitely some advantageous positions as Diddley has pushed his way up. SSS had it. They had that opportunity, got completely wiped away, and now Exclusive starts to push forward, starts to get themselves and tries to split this spawn as early as they can.
Exclusive is double right now, SSS, and it'll take one hill for them to come back, but one full hill rotation is not something we've seen SSS win yet at all in this whole series, so it'll be the first for them if they can make that comeback possible. And now trickling on over to the 150-point mark, Exclusive is winning scraps, is winning mid-hill, and winning the beginning of the hill as well. There goes the next score streak, been utilized from Exclusive to deny any more rotation to New and SSS. Yeah, no diversity in the feed. All blue are winning these gunfights, and all blue seems to be written on the series unless SSS can pull something out and pull it quick.
Yeah, they need to pull something as it continues to go blue. Everything Exclusive, everything for them. There it is, Diddley. Find one, but immediately straight back to the blue. That was a small moment, a small opportunity, but fades away quickly. And oh my god, I've not seen a feed been blue for so long. And if you're SSS, you start to worry, you're starting to panic, and the strategy that you've been trying to run off, you throw out the door. I'm starting to feel a little sorry here.
Yeah, the mayhem right now that exclusive is just unleashing on SSS is getting a little too, overwhelming for them. I mean, the streaks have been utilized so much. The smokes everywhere. Nades are being utilized every which way. I mean, SSS is like hard for them to even take a deep breath, but finally Toxic with a 2-piece make it 3, 4, and 5, baby. You love to see it.
Brilliant opening from Toxic, gets his team in. Yes, it's for scraps, but honestly, if he held that score streak, had that entry onto P3, it would have been brilliant. But I get it. You're down to that near 200 point mark from exclusive. You have to start fighting for every little point to stop them from getting to that 250. And that's for SSS.
Man.
They want to be out of the 100 point club because that hotel, trust me, is horrible.
It's not all inclusive Hyper, but I'll tell you who is exclusive right now of letting anyone lose that 100 point club membership. Raining on through again, 215 to 81 SSS. Yeah, we celebrated, that specialist kill 4-piece from SSS, but at the end of the day, it's not going to amount to too much if they don't at least get past that 100 point mark. The goal was originally taking home map number 4, but now it's just allowing that scoreboard to reflect crossing 100 point mark and just ending the suffering there. But finally we see some life alive, but is it too little too late for SSS as they get the scraps to their favor? Exclusive can just shrug their shoulders for the next 1, 2, perhaps even 3 rotations, because they'll still be up.
Yeah, they could go for a while, but SSS, this is more like it, a lot better from them, but the whole entire the barrage that comes in, it starts to turn blue. How much can you hold off? That's the question. Point goes neutral. This allows an opportunity for exclusive to start stepping on the point. Spawns still great for SSS. They can force their way in quickly. Get that nade, get that utility, all thrown in. But it's the likes of Spy, the likes of Grizz holding them off. Holding the barrage that comes towards them. Nothing that SSS is throwing at them can be enough. A brief neutrality with only 5 points, but no, exclusive. It's all theirs, and as their name states, all of their own.
Yeah, the cherry on top right now for exclusive. They take home this map, and this time without, hopefully, a DQ to their name. What a fantastic job for exclusive again, not letting that unfortunate DQ get into their head. A wise friend of mine once told me, who has played competitive COD all for too long, COD, regardless of the platform, is 20% mechanics, 80% mental and chemistry. And exclusive showing us to the viewers at home just how that looks. Exclusive has the 20% mechanics, but they also have that 80% mental capacity and the fluidity to keep SSS right in that point of pressure.
Very 41 and 22 KD coming out on that hard point. His name showing up in the feed, and of course Spy is there, 35 and 17 as well. Also, I think just shy of a 2 KD, but let's give it to Toxic. I want to talk about Toxic's break with the equalizer. That is such a powerful specialty weapon that just came out of nowhere, giving that beautiful break onto P2, opening things up and giving SSS that last hope of opportunity to push themselves out of the 100 points. And yes, even though it was for scraps, that break upset exclusive for a good hill. And credit where it's due, when you have a player like Toxic on your side, you gotta be using him a little bit more. You gotta allow him to start flowing, and that was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But again, kudos to SSS. A great fight, but not enough to fend off against this exclusive squad.
Well, if we're gonna play it like good cop, bad cop Hyper, I certainly think that the usage of the specialist Sparrow to go in and wipe completely exclusive off the objective was fantastic. It's like you said earlier, you got to realize it was for 10 seconds of time, and at this point in time for SSS, they had to go for the bigger numbers and hold those hills for as long as possible. And it would have been nicer to see that earlier on in the map to really establish SSL in a position of power, right? Because you see that wipe go off. I'm sure we can give our oohs and ahs about it, but at the end of the day, exclusive still had SSS right where they wanted them. And they unfortunately just kept them there. And SSS wasn't really able to crawl themselves out. And regardless, of getting peace like that, Exclusive still, recognize their position, in the broader perspective, in the broad thing. And as a result, they were able to so easily just come back from that and close everything down. But with that being said, congratulations to Exclusive and winning a very admirable series. I mean, it was a statement, for a lack of a better term, needless to say, for them. And it was almost effortless for most of these maps, Hyper. It was fantastic for Exclusive. A great way to start things off this Saturday night. And for SSS, you got another chance to do it. You got another chance to pick up your bat and walk right back over to the plate. Hopefully this time you'll hit a grand slam, because that's what you're going to need if you want to stay alive in the grand scheme of things. But from Hyperactive and I, Scav, we want to say thank you to all the production crew, all the administration over at Outless and UECE for making things like this happen. We want to thank the viewers at home, your continuous support, not only to the players, but to us, the production. Everyone is just so flattered to have your support, and is thankful, regardless win or lose, to have a community like this, to be able to see such skilled players go at it on this Saturday night. But again, we appreciate you guys all for tuning in. We'll see you all tomorrow. And for now, stay safe out there. Good night.